Welcome to the House to House, Heart to Heart School of Evangelism website. This is our actionable curriculum. You're on the very first module under our introduction. Now, this is a modular website, meaning that after you complete each step, all you got to do is hit next step at the bottom of the page. So notice there it says next step. When you hit it, you've completed this portion of the website. Now, under the introduction are some very important things that you need to consider. First and foremost, you need to get started. That's just an admonition in a video and some written instructions to take what we have taught and to use the materials that you have purchased and get started. Let's not let it waste. Let's not allow the momentum to stop, because if you don't get started now, you're probably never going to get started. And all that positive energy from the congregation is going to dissipate quickly. Let's go to the next module and notice it says reaching the lost. You should have everyone in your congregation signed up to receive the weekly training videos. And so these are the reports by all the churches. And also, these are the videos that we send out every Friday. So if you've not already done this, please send us the email list of your membership so we can make sure you are practicing the congregational model. And remember, this is based on a model to get every member involved. Thus, we call it congregational evangelism. So as you complete each step, you just move on to the next part under the introduction. So we're going to look at the checklist next. The checklist is important because once you download this checklist, it gives you the progressions. Let's go ahead and open the checklist now and look at it together. Of course, the very first thing you want to do is get started. You want to check that box. Get started. We suggest the following Sunday, if you have enough time to prepare the sermon, or the very next Sunday. Then you want to assign a point of contact, an overall coordinator, take the 2-foot by 3-foot evangelism model posters, get them framed, start placing them around the building, then start establishing your coordinators and setting up your training. Now, this checklist, keep it handy because you need to trust the process. If this is going to work, you can't just pick and choose. It's a system. And so as you set up the various aspects of the evangelism model, check the box. Now, it's going to take you some time. If you were aggressive, I'd say 3 months. Most churches, about 6 months. Some, it takes even longer, up to a year. Now, you're never going to finish because we're just going to keep learning together and adding additional evangelistic resources. So evangelism only finishes when Jesus comes. The checklist is a good way to keep yourself on track. Now, let's go back to the website itself. Let's notice after we finish the website, that is the checklist, we can go to things like the coordinator spreadsheet for elders. Essential. It's vital. Go ahead and quickly open that up, and you'll notice there that the Excel spreadsheet provides organizational structure, leadership. In other words, who needs to be where, and what are those positions called? Let's look at their titles. Now, this is keyed off the 6-step model: contacts, prospects, Bible studies, baptisms, new converts, growing church. Now, who's going to coordinate the bookmark? Who's going to coordinate the visitors? Who's going to coordinate house to house, heart to heart? Some of these coordinators are going to need team members to help them, like new movers and the visitors. You're going to need team members. So this gives the elders an organizational structure, how to set things up. They can put deacons in these slots, or maybe just some trusted servants that they can go to and they can count on. They can have quarterly meetings and ask them, how are things progressing? So this coordinator sheet is just an organizational tool for the leadership of the church. As you go through the introduction, there's a lot of good material there. For example, if you go back to the website, you'll see the preacher training schedule. Preachers love this because it helps them know, what am I going to preach? When am I going to preach it? Now, this one includes a Sunday morning, Sunday evening, or second service. So you have the sermon, and then you also have the training lesson. Once again, if you're aggressive, 3 months. But most churches take a little bit longer. Now, you can adapt it to your needs, but this is a way to make plans. The preacher wants to make plans. He wants to know, what am I going to preach? Now, if you're the preacher, you're going to like this. All of those sermons, we've got them in the website. All you got to do is download the sermon. For many of them, we even have a PowerPoint to go along with the actual lesson itself. Now, in some of those, we have training cards you can pass out to the members and they can follow along. So the website is full of great materials. Let's go back to the website and notice just a few more things together. So for preachers, that training schedule is going to be, it's going to be pretty important. Now, you'll notice also there's a tab that says accountability board. I always like to point this out. So one of the things that we would like you to do is we want you to set up your accountability board. This tells us, what are your baptism goals? How many baptisms have you had? How many visitors have you had for this month? How many visits have you made? How many compassion cards have been sent? How many prospects on the list? We have several categories and they'll fit almost any board. We strongly encourage you to set that board up, put those metrics in front of your church building. That way the membership has goals for which they can reach. And it holds us all accountable. Preachers, point at it. And if we're not where we need to be, challenge your local congregation. Notice all this is under the introductory tab. There's a whole lot more. You need to follow it. But let's go to the very first step in the model. The first step is contacts. And you're going to notice under contacts, there are some 20 or more contact creators. The first one being the bookmark. How do you use the bookmark? There's the sermon you're going to notice that goes with the bookmark based on John chapter 4. It's going to take you about 3 weeks to preach it. It's a 17-point sermon. During it, you're training the church how to use the bookmark. The bookmark is designed to pull contacts out of your church members. I would strongly encourage you to watch some of those videos. In fact, on that one video on the top right-hand side, you're going to see someone perhaps that's familiar to those of you who've done some foreign mission work under Yes 2. That's Austin Fowler. He's one of our regional trainers. Austin Fowler's there at the Riverbend Church of Christ, teaching the church there how to get contacts. Each member of the church is going to need to give 10 contacts. These are the people they're going to try to reach throughout the year. It's a pretty exciting part of the model. If you're a church of 100 and everyone gives you 10 contacts, that's 1,000 contacts. So those videos are training, demonstrations, and then you just, again, follow the menu down. From contacts, you start with bookmarks, and then you're going to go to a second sermon, which is it's quality or it's quantity, not quality. So this is a sermon that helps you set some expectations that are reasonable. So if you're going to have baptisms and Bible studies, you need to realize that there's a lot of work involved and that you're going to have to reach out to a lot of people. If you reach out to 100 people, you're not going to have 100 baptisms, probably not even going to have 10 baptisms. All right, it's going to take a lot of work to get there. So going to Matthew chapter 22, preacher, preach the sermon. The PowerPoint's right down there in the website. We give you everything you need, and it's part of the preacher training schedule. So this is a expectation, managing expectation moment for the church. Let's go to the next one. We're going to notice that they're the unfaithful. Do you know they're contacts? They're good contacts. We don't need to forget about our brethren who have fallen away. We need to try to reach out to them and bring them back. Then you go down to visitors. That's another contact creator. Having a coordinator, establishing your team, watching the training material. And let's just scroll down to the bottom and notice something else. There is a training card. Now, I've mentioned these previously. We have 15 of them. They're in your package. And each of these sermons, you pass out the training card. And now the preacher can give a general overview of your strategy for visitors. And then your coordinator with the selected team members give a very specific lesson on what you need to do when a visitor walks in the door, who's going to do it, what's going to be said, what's the end game. Very important. So you can see the website is full of good information. You need to know how to navigate through it. Now, here's something you need to know about the website. Now, as you go through each module and complete each step, you don't have to complete every step under the contact stage before you get to prospects. Now, if you pull the menu back up and you're going to notice just those steps on the left-hand side, you'll see contacts, prospects, Bible studies, baptisms. You don't have to complete every module under contacts before you start prospecting. When you get contacts, you need to go to prospecting. And notice under prospects, we're going to start out with the prospect list. So there's a Word document here. After you watch the video, you need to download. Open that Word document, because in that Word document, you're going to populate your list. These are the people, the contacts that you're going to activate. Very, very important that you see that, because This list, your secretary is going to want it, or your preacher. You're going to have to populate that list with the individuals that you're trying to reach. Now, manage your expectations. You can't prospect every contact, but when they have that life event, when you see an open window opportunity, you definitely can reach out to them, and that would be very important. So let's go back to our website. Notice again the prospects. That's the list. It's a Word doc. Then you can go to compassion cards, the most effective prospecting tool we've got. Strongly recommend that you watch the videos. Strongly recommend that you read those bullet point training sheets. Now, Nicole, when she was with your ladies, she gave them some extra training sheets. Talk to those ladies, because setup's key. If you don't set this up properly, it's not going to work. So compassion cards are one of the most effective tools we have in our school. But again, got to trust the process. There's your training card to use. You notice there's a sermon with a training card down below. And when you open that sermon up, there is the outline. You're able to view it, to go through it. That sermon actually was written by Adam Fawn. And it was a sermon designed to teach the members how to write a compassion card. What do you say? It's from the book of Proverbs. It's excellent. So as you go back to the website, once again, full of tools and resources, you're following the checklist, you're properly using the website. And you'll notice on the left-hand side, that menu is keyed off our 6 steps. So after the introduction, you have contacts, prospects, then you have Bible studies. Now the Bible studies, this is instructions for how to set up your evangelism table. If you open up that module, what materials go on the table? What materials go in an evangelism room? Not everybody needs everything. Some of your members need some things. So let's not waste the materials. There's a training card that teaches you how to set up your evangelism table. What is the purpose? You perhaps want to take some time in a sermon to explain these tools and how they're used. Now, after you set up your evangelism table, you want to go back to the Bible. Back to the Bible is the primary tool we use for evangelism, but not the only tool. So under Back to the Bible, when you open that module, you're going to see a training sheet, videos, but you're going to see the PowerPoints, and you're going to want these. It's going to take you about 6 to 9 weeks to go through Back to the Bible. Most people take about 3 Sundays per booklet. And so you're going to see a 4x3 and a 16x9. All the tools at your fingertips. You don't have to design one PowerPoint. We give them to you. You're now enrolled in the school. You have exclusive access to this training website. Now, Back to the Bible is not the only tool. If you scroll down under Bible studies, you're going to see, does it matter? Believe the Bible. You're going to see information about how to close a study. What about Bible camps and Bible studies? What about group studies? Lots of good stuff. So once again, you're going through the model. After, of course, Bible studies is baptisms. Very important. Baptisms are really success. And if the church isn't seeing baptisms, they're going to struggle to be believers. So baptisms helps you reach the membership and provide momentum and motivation. I want you to pay very close attention to these steps, because most churches are not prepared for baptisms. They don't know what to do when there is a baptism, and they announce it in the most awkward ways, like during announcements when absolutely no one's paying attention. They're not utilizing the success. So please pay very close attention to those lessons. New converts, you got to be involved in, and you've got to be intentional with new converts. Brethren, when they walk in the front door, lock the back door. Don't let them out. Make sure that you have a new converts class Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. Make sure that your new converts, all right, have mentors assigned. There's all the training suggestions on how to make it work. Those are videos. Please watch the videos. They're all 5 minutes or less. The last step is growing church, all right? And so you need to look at, what do growing churches do? And I want to be a growing church. So let's learn from those growing churches. We need to continue the training. We need to set goals and metrics and make sure our congregation realizes that, that 10% goal is very achievable. That is, if you're a church of 100 baptizing 10, it's not out of the question. In fact, most of the churches enrolled in the school, they achieve that success and they're growing. It's exciting. Now, brethren, as you go back through that model, you're going to see now that we have hundreds of congregations that are enrolled, thousands and thousands and thousands of baptisms in the United States. The website grows every single month. More and more materials added. We edit it. We update it. Let's look at one more thing. It's the last part. It's called the last step. Now, there's instructions under the last step. Now, the instructions are very important because if you complete the website, if you check every module, you're no longer going to have access to the website because it thinks you're done, but you're really not done because we're going to add more stuff. So don't ever complete the last step. Never hit complete. That way you can go back to the website and from time to time even do a reboot. Make sure maybe you need to go over and troubleshoot some of the areas of evangelism in your local church. So this is a quick tutorial on how to use the website. I hope it's been helpful. Now let's go back to the introduction, the very main page, and notice once again the model. I'm going to end with the model. There it is. It's the 6-step model. On the left-hand side, that menu is key to that model. You have contacts, prospects, Bible studies, baptisms, new converts, and a growing church. It's all right there at your fingertips. We're providing these resources. This is exclusively for you. The leadership, if you want to add a coordinator to have access, you need to let us know. We'll send them an invitation link. But we want you to realize that this is important. These resources will help you develop it. And if you trust the process, you have unity with the elders and preachers, and you're sparking the effort every Sunday, souls are going to be saved. You're going to grow. To God be the glory for every soul that's saved. Contact us if you have any questions. Rob@housetohouse.com. Rob@housetohouse.com. Now, if you have technical issues with the website, contact David@housetohouse.com, and he'll be glad to help you as well. Thank you for listening, and we're looking forward to working with you. To God be the glory.
We just plant and water, then watch God see the increase start. There are souls at stake. Let's give it our best. Let's take them back to the Bible.